My Best Friend's Engineer podcast. This is Libby.
This is Lexi.
And we've got a guest on today. We've got our very first guest on.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Kayla.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Kayla, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I'm currently a senior engineering management major at Miami University. I know these guys from being in the same fam, Theta fam. So, love that.
Drink every time we talk about Theta on this podcast.
Yeah, perfect for you. So I'm currently studying environmental engineering, but I'm going to go into tech consulting once I graduate this spring. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've already a job set up?
Yeah.
Right?
You're ready to go?
Yeah.
Graduating in May?
Yep.
Are you going to have a normal graduation because of COVID or what?
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
It's looking like it. Or when we go back to school, it'll be normal.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But, yeah.
We're hoping.
Well, congratulations on the job.
Thank you.
And congratulations on graduating soon.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. One more. I've got the easy classes left.
That's pretty crazy.
Climbing,
that's the way you gotta set it up.
Rock climbing? You're taking rock climbing? I always want to take rock climbing at Miami, and I never did.
Yep.
Sad.
I'll send you pictures.
Please do.
Give you tips.
So I think we wanted to start off the episode just with a little bit of a recap of how our weeks have been. Lexi, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so I've actually been on site this past week every day. My job is mostly remote, which we should talk about how it is being a remote engineer, because I feel like a lot of people don't really, think you can work remote as an engineer.
They don't really know about it.
So I've been on site because I actually do have to look at the machines and stuff. So just busy because of that.
Busy. How far away are you from your site?
This one's 45 minutes, but I support other sites. So there's one that's 2 hours away, which is super fun to drive. Ooh. But my company expenses the drive though, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice. But. So you just live at home and then you drive there. So you don't have to be close, but it's nice when you're closer, right? Well, it's exciting. I just came back to work this week. We had Monday off because of the holiday, but then my first day back was Tuesday. It's super nice at my company. They do company holiday between Christmas and New Year's, so you don't have to take PTO.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Super nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Super nice, and it's not like you're the only one who's not working because everybody's not working.
Yeah. You're on the same page.
Everybody's on the same page, unless you have a project going on, which luckily I didn't have really too much going on, so I didn't really have to worry about checking my computer or anything, so that was really nice just to have a break and just to veg out and sleep till noon and do nothing.
Because your busy season isn't winter, right? It's
spring and fall, right?
Okay.
So that was nice. But yeah, so then I came back to work. I had I don't know, just so many emails, probably 60-ish. I should have taken a picture, but I didn't take a picture. I didn't know how many emails I had, so got back to everybody. But I think everybody in my company was a little bit groggy, beginning of the week, slowly getting back into the routine. So I think now we're ready to go. We have our spring outage season starts soon. I have an outage in Florida.
Oh,
okay.
Florida starting in February, so it'll be crazy busy, but hopefully it'll be good to get some trips out of.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'll be nice.
Well, it's still cold here. Definitely.
Yeah, it's nice to have the warm weather power plants to go see. So, and what about you, Kayla? How's the week been?
Yeah, so we have such a long break. I'm actually studying to take the GMAT.
Nice.
So considering business grad school, didn't know about all those options as I started, engineering, college.
Who does?
Yeah,
right?
There's so many things. I'm just
hopefully our listeners after.
So, take a look.
Yeah. So what actually is the GMAT? What does it stand for? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh,
No.
It's okay.
But they have, it's kind of just an SAT, ECT kind of thing.
Okay.
For post-grad. And I've been studying basic math concepts. There's sentence correction, things like that. So it's really basic things that you've learned probably in high school.
Yeah.
But they apply it in a very difficult way. So I took a practice test and I was like, oh yeah. I need to study a bit more. So, but
are you doing a class or is it a
I'm just doing a
thing?
Yeah,
okay.
I bought a book. Hopefully I get
But
through it.
But
before,
and it's good to do it while you're still in school, I feel
Definitely.
because you're not going to be motivated when you graduate.
Yeah, that was the plan. So my mom was like, yeah, do it now. And I was like, okay. So she encouraged me.
Is that like just is it something your job asks you to do, or something you're just taking upon yourself?
So that was the thing. A lot of consulting firms talk about like getting your master's, things like that, and having an engineering background going into business school is kind of unique because then I'd have a perspective on like both types of.
You're like a unicorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of consulting firms help with business school in the future. So keeping my options open, hopefully.
Yeah, it'll just set you up well.
Yeah.
Especially if you can find a place that like pays for your
Yes, yeah.
masters.
Some people take like 2 years off to get their business degree. You can do like the weekend programs, so.
Which one would you prefer?
I'm not sure. I don't. Some
Keeping
people.
your options open.
Exactly. Some people say like they want to take the 2 years off so they can like find a spouse and like settle down. So we'll see where I'm at in like 2 years from now, probably. So
Very nice.
Yeah.
And will your company go like support any school, or is it like a certain number? Like
I think typically business like related programs, and I think a lot of companies want like the top business schools. So that's kind of
I was gonna say, 'cause
like
I heard another consulting firm does like only a certain few.
yeah. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I never knew that either. I thought it was just like general in school.
Yeah.
Like they kind of.
What is that called again? Why am I drawing a blank
The
when you get a
GMAT?
master's in business?
MBA.
MBA.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was like, what is that called? Yeah, that is super nice if you can get a company to do it. I think my company might do that. I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah.
But I think it might be a type of thing where you have to work like 5 years with the company and then
that's
they
another
are
thing.
like, we will let you do it. Or you do it and then they're like, you have to stay.
Yeah, that's another like.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just preparing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
definitely.
knows? Things might change, but
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And your job starts
In August.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get a little bit of a summer break.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, this is my last like winter break too. Like you said, like
Oh my God,
your company
sad.
doesn't need PTO then. Like yeah, so it'll be weird to like transition from school to work, but I'm excited. So
Exciting.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for the summer? Are you just gonna like chill out before job
I'm gonna
starts?
try and travel. We'll see.
Oh my God.
We'll see if
That's such a
there's
good idea.
if there's things open. Yeah.
I'm such not a travel girly, and I totally want to be one. My mom was like, you should just go places, even just by yourself. Like, just go
Yeah.
places. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. She's like, you have the means, just do it. But that's awesome.
Let's take a trip.
Yeah.
Let's take
Okay.
let's take a girls trip.
We'll take the podcast on the go.
Take the podcast goes places.
You're also moving to Chicago.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so I grew up outside of the city, like 40 minutes, suburbs, you know. But I'm excited to like get into the city, learn a new place.
All right. So, should we tell the story about how we met Kayla?
Yeah.
Probably, because I love that story.
Yeah, we need to.
It's a good
Okay,
one.
so junior year, we mentioned this briefly in our first episode, but Libby and I lived together.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in a house, and there were like so many animals we found in there. We found a bat. Do you remember that in the basement?
Oh my
the
God.
basement wasn't finished.
We did.
I didn't see
That was
anything.
terrifying. And like Elsie lived with us.
Yeah.
My dog lived with us, so that was another animal.
So one day I see a centipede, and I'm like, oh my God, this had to have come from like the Amazon jungle. So it was just disgusting. I was like, how can Ohio have this? But so I'm like, clearly I will not be touching this. And so I walk over to our little neighbor's house.
Resourceful.
Resourceful
And I go, there's no one home. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to walk over. Like, I know that boys live there because I've seen them walking in and out of their house. So I knock on the door and I'm like, all right, can you please come help me kill this little bug? And they're probably like, oh,
This
it's
little
annoying.
bug, it's like this big.
And so I was like, all right, nice to meet you. Please come on over. And they were probably like, who's this girl? So I think like 2 of them came over and they were like, all right, yeah, that is disgusting. So they took care of it, dealt with it.
If they're listening, shout out. Don't
Thank
remember
you.
your names, but thank you for helping
Thank
us.
So yeah, they came over, killed the bug, and then all is well.
All is
right.
well.
So I think a few days pass, and then all of a sudden we get a little knock on our door, and I'm like, okay, this is weird because usually our friends just walk in.
no
Our door
one-
was always
it's
unlocked,
college.
which
And
was,
this was the beginning of the school year, so like,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
we're all still feeling really friendly in the neighborhood.
and so we hear a knock, and we're like, okay, who's it? Our neighbors, and I was like, okay, hello, how are you? And,
Hi, how's it going?
and they invited us to a little bonfire that they were having, so I was like, of course we will attend.
Yeah,
That's
obviously.
the least we can do after.
That's the least we can do.
So we go on over, and then we meet Kayla's brother, who he didn't live in the house, but he was just friends with them. And then he started talking. Well, we started talking about how, I guess, probably how we met and everything. And
I
we
don't
were
even remember
explaining-
how we like started talking to him even. I think because he was friends with the people that lived there, and we were talking to the people that lived there, and then he was like,
We were just like talking about our
like what? And we were like, what's your major? And we were like, engineering.
And so we were like talking about Theta Ta, and then he's like, oh, my sister's an engineer, and she's a freshman. And I go, oh my god.
We
showed you a picture of you. He's like, this is her. It's like, oh my god, so cute. So
all behind my back.
And we were on the hunt for a little, I
Yes.
think, that semester. So we were like trying to scope out the land on who would be in our family.
And we were an all-girl family. We did not discriminate, obviously, against men, but we just...
it worked out.
Yeah. But, and so we told him, tell her to rush, and I did not think he was going to do it.
He texted me.
I didn't really I am so sorry. I did not put two and two together. Then you said, once you got in our family, that you were his sister, and I was like, oh my god. Flashback. Saw all these things going back. And that's pretty much how we met.
Yeah.
And then
so all because of a centipede.
All because of a centipede.
Thank God.
You gotta be grateful for something every day, and that day we were grateful for the centipede.
Yep. Looking back, yeah.
So that's how we met Kayla. Yeah, and then you went through the little pledging process, the interviews. We had like the info nights and everything, and then
So was your brother texting you, being like, join Theta Ta? Was that the reason you decided to rush, or did you like find out about it some other way?
I think that was it. And then I had people in some classes too.
Okay.
That were like, you should do this. And like as a freshman, I did everything. Like
and
I signed up
you don't
for
know.
everything.
You were always very busy. I feel like you were involved in a lot.
Not as much now, but no, I was like, I will do everything like put in front of me.
And that's I feel like that's a very good mindset, especially coming into college. Because did you know a lot of people coming in, or?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, I made friends in my classes. Like, I was like, oh, well, I don't know what's happening. I was like, hopefully they do.
Yeah.
So then...
hopefully they know what's going on.
But, well, then they were like, no, I'm confused. And I was like, okay. That's better too.
And then it makes you feel better.
Yeah, then you can bond. You can have a study group.
Yeah. So... then I rushed. I was like, well, everyone keeps like talking about it, and I had no idea. The only thing that scared me, I was like, what if I change my major?
That's always a really awkward thing to deal with. But I think we've had people change majors and they stay in it.
Yeah,
like,
I think they
probably
can.
not as involved. Like, can they? Or
I think they can.
Yeah,
I feel like,
it works.
But yeah, they're not as involved as you were saying. Yeah.
But I mean, you still make your friends. Like, they're your friends. It's not like we're gonna drop you if you're not.
Yeah, no, you're like shunned. No.
Yeah.
But and then you guys showed me like everything my freshman year. We like studied, we like cooked together.
Yeah.
Family dinners.
Were big in what's HelloFresh.
HelloFresh.
Do you remember that?
Gosh.
And it was so hard to plan our schedules because I feel like we were just always doing something. So we were like, okay, we wanted to cook together, obviously, but.
That was my first experience with HelloFresh with Lexi.
Yeah, that was my first experience cooking.
Remember I still remember to this day, HelloFresh needs to sponsor us because I still remember to this day the first bite we took because we got a little bit of everything on the plate on our forks and we were like, okay, don't do it yet, don't do it. And then we were like, okay, together. And we like took the first bite and we were both like, whoa, this is so good.
We're like, we can't believe we just made that.
Because we were used to making butter noodles and soup.
Or like
oh my god. I still stand by my soup, honestly. That was...
In college, that's all we ate. Or
I know. The dining hall.
Oh, the dining hall.
Yeah.
All terribly bland food.
Yep.
Plus, Oxford, Ohio in general has like 2 places. Like
Chipotle.
when we would go to like Noodles and Company and then we would have to drive 45 minutes.
That was 45 minutes.
Panera. 45 minutes.
So sad.
Target, even.
Oh my god, Target was like a
drive
vacation.
far away.
I was like, oh my god, that's what we would plan on some days. Let's spend Sunday.
It was like the real world too. It was like Target.
And you're like, okay, these are real people. They're not
like college students.
Which honestly, I kind of liked that though, because I feel like choosing a school, you can choose like a city school or you can choose like a very like college campus.
Miami was a super bubble.
Yeah, which I knew like I wanted to come back to Chicago, so I was like, I'll get the city feel eventually, but
I liked the bubble feel though. Like my sister goes to Minnesota and it is a beautiful campus, but you're definitely like in the city, like you can't really tell when you're on the campus or when you're in the city.
Yeah.
And that for me, I was like, I definitely want to feel like I'm on the campus, and that's how Miami is. Definitely. Okay, so you rushed Theta Ta.
Yes.
How was the rush experience for you?
I thought it was really fun. I got to talk to like almost everybody in the chapter. So like I met you guys, I met upperclassmen as a freshman, which was something that was definitely like different, and I'm really glad because everyone gave me advice. Everyone
Yeah.
like helped me like pick my classes for the next semester, things like that, like what professors to take, what not to do.
Yeah, it was a huge help.
That was a huge help.
I even talked to someone about adding a co-major,
Oh, that's cool.
the energy co-major. So I was like, and I've told people about it now, and like they've also added it. So I'm like, it's just like carrying on. So, yeah, and I definitely like grew a lot since joining Theta Tau, which is so crazy.
Yeah, you've had some exec positions.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
The top dog and T-top.
Maybe.
Sitting up in the front of the room.
Front of the room. That was a big. Oh, I'm sad now. I'm in the
I know,
back
that's
again.
fun.
Oh, you just feel nostalgic when you think about
Yeah.
T-top.
Yeah.
Like, such good memories. Yeah, so maybe do you want to tell us a little bit about the exec position that you held while you were at Theta Tau?
I was corresponding secretary, which Lexi was too.
Yes.
So that was fun.
Friends in the family.
Yes. Yep. Passing it down. So I was in charge of like alumni relations. And talking to other schools and chapters, which was really fun. During the pandemic, we actually did a few virtual visits.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so interesting.
How did that go? Did they just like take you around their little...
Someone actually like hopped on the Zoom and was like walking on campus. They're like, yeah, that's our like mechanical engineering.
That's
And
kinda
yeah,
cute.
it was really funny because we were like, they had like 5 different engineering buildings like separate, and we were like, wow, your campus. It was U of
We
I.
have like one.
U of
Oh,
I?
that's cool.
Oh
That's
my
cool.
gosh,
Yeah.
my mom went to U of I.
Yeah.
That's like our family school.
Yeah,
Like all my
yeah.
cousins go to U of I. That's so cool.
So that was fun, and it was just fun because I was like, this might be so awkward. Like it's a Zoom with
Yeah.
2 schools of people that have never met, and it worked out fine because everyone was like, oh, like your school is so different, and like talking about things like that, like different traditions. So those are super fun, and then talking to the alumni, talking to being like, guys, like come back and like visit. So
Which
stuff
we
like
should
that's
for
really
graduation
fun.
weekend.
I know, we should.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I haven't
Please do.
visited since I graduated, which I've been so bad about it, but I think also it was because of COVID that I just like,
It's
I was
hard.
like,
You never
but
know.
we definitely need to come back and
Yeah.
visit.
Text me.
I know that
My
was
couch. my basement, my couch.
it's available.
It's good. Yeah.
I never personally went on any other chapter visits. Did you, Lexi?
I did not. I feel like there weren't too many when
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot at Michigan. I think Michigan was a big school that we like partnered with.
Yeah.
Since he came to our school once though. Like
I feel like I went to the hockey game,
yeah.
I was
Hockey
the
game.
first hockey
We
game
all
and
went.
only hockey
Yeah,
game I've
We
ever
all
been
sat together.
Yeah, we did, we
I
did.
forgot about that.
It was,
Keep
I think
pictures.
we went to Charlie before or after.
Yes, before.
Oh my
And it was like
God.
Halloween time.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that.
that. Oh my God,
That was
memories.
fun. So.
But I know it can always be also so that's really cool that you guys did that during COVID, because I feel like it's also weird because you don't know what the other dynamic of like other Theta Tau chapters
Yeah.
True,
is.
yeah.
You know, like you know that like Miami is like we like to have fun, but we also like to study, but like there's such a like I feel like we have really good brotherhood at Miami, and then you never
Some
know.
schools, yeah. So I actually went to the national conference for Theta Tau this
Nice.
summer, which was cool. It was postponed.
That looked
a
so
year.
fun.
Yeah,
So nice.
I got to meet people from like every school that has a Theta Tau chapter, which, like you said, the dynamics are different. Some people like had really small chapters, like 9 people.
people?
And- Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
And I
oh
was
my
like, wow. Yeah,
I wonder
so
why. I wonder
different.
if they like limited it to be so small. Obviously,
No, they
Yeah.
you're just not that many
Yeah,
engineers.
I think
there.
it was hard to like recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
they
we
weren't
could
as
talk-
good at recruiting.
We could talk to Julie about chartering
Yeah.
the chapter,
Yeah.
which would be super interesting.
Oh, that would be cool. We should have
Yeah.
Juliana to do that because
Yeah.
they chartered Miami's Theta.
I know, like, how many people do we have?
Weird.
Like 150, or is that too many?
Like 80.
100?
We got we kind of got small with COVID, but yeah, like 80 now.
But still, that's bigger than 9.
Mhm. Yeah. So I got to meet a lot of people here. Like different schools did a lot of different things, different
Where was-
traditions. Yeah.
Where was nationals?
Tampa,
Nice.
Florida. So
Awesome.
that was fun.
What are like did you have like an agenda? Like how many days was it? What
It
did you
was-
like do while you were there?
Yeah, it was like a 3-day weekend. And it was funny because the people on the like national council, they're alumni of Theta Tau, and they
Oh.
help like keep the student organization. Like it's a student run, so they help like manage like all the like nitty gritty things that we wouldn't think about as
Yeah.
students. So they had like they were very serious about a lot of things that I was like I didn't even know. Like they had like
Oh,
certain
yeah.
you know like different. It was like a meeting, a business meeting, and they had like. They talked about the national policies and things like that. So it was just cool to see like the big picture of like, yeah, we all do this at our school, but then seeing it like the national level, it's kind of a lot.
When you
definitely.
when you did the meetings, was it like the same as when we hold Theta Tau chapter?
more serious.
More serious.
Yeah.
So it
more
wasn't just like a
serious.
come in and sit in the room. You did the whole ritual and like everything.
Yeah, you had to be on time. Yeah. So
You had to be on time.
You had to be like business professional, like very serious.
wow.
So that was cool. And then
That was a big thing in our chapter though too, like the attire.
The
Yes.
attire?
There were people with very differing opinions.
We
about
had
that.
so many meetings, I feel
oh
like,
my
about
God.
wearing jeans. Stupid jeans.
With like the discussions too and how long they would take.
Yeah.
That was just so
Everybody
interesting.
were so opinionated
Yeah.
about wearing like professional clothes to chapter.
It was professional clothes or your letters too,
Yes.
but then people wanted to wear like jeans with your letters, which people wanted to wear leggings with letters because you're like around the building all day. Like I think I touched on it in like our first episode. Just like you were there like in the building at 8 a.m. then you just walk to the chapter room. It's not like you can go dilly-dally around.
Well, I
like,
think there were a couple times, you can probably relate, where I would have to bring like business clothes in my backpack because I knew I wasn't going to go back to my dorm or my house or wherever I was living.
Yeah.
So you guys had to do business clothes.
Yep. So
Whoa.
and it was cool just because like so many people had different experiences. Like we heard about jobs from all the alumni and things like that, and I was just like, wow, so many things I just did not know about.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
So did you take anything from the national conference to our chapter? Like, is there anything that you were like, we should do this, or like this rule that we weren't doing?
No, there was like one position we don't do that we should. I forget, Marshall or something like
Marshall?
that.
What's that?
Oh, we kind of have that. Well, we did.
It's like it changes every time. Yeah, so like
it wasn't like one person.
Oh, that is that the person that lets people in if they're late?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember those people.
Yeah. So and there was some like secrets. I was like, no one told me that, and so I was like, I went back and, but I don't think any of us knew. You know, it was like it only comes up like once every 5 years that you might need to know this one thing. So that was cool, and it's it was very cool to know all these secrets and
like Robert's rules. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember
That was
Robert's
like a
rules.
big.
I still don't know them.
I don't know.
What is it? Is it like how you? It's like how you talk in the meeting, right?
Yeah.
It's like how you.
We should bring someone on who's an expert in Robert's rules. Our minds
I-
would just
I'm
get
sure we-
blown.
No, you were doing this wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh my
These
gosh.
meetings are serious. That's how I learned, like you said, like the debating, the like what you can wear with. I was like, oof. If I'm gonna say something, I have to be very like pointed in what I say. Otherwise,
So you guys talked about like Theta Top policy. You said you got to speak with some alumni. Is that pretty much the point of the conference? Just like get people together?
yeah, and like you vote on certain things and like getting new chapters like chartered and things like that. That was like. And there was changing of wording of different, like, because it's such an old organization, they were like, let's change this wording to be more, like, modern and, like, fitting. So,
Exciting.
that was, I was like, I don't know those rules at all. Some people were like, know it, like, chapter 5, section, blah, blah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
That's crazy.
I know. I feel like our chapter's a little lenient. in that.
definitely. I was like, okay.
Oh, wow. So did you get chosen to go or did you volunteer?
I kind of volunteered.
Okay.
Yep. So, just because it was in the summertime. And I had to take, like, one day off my internship to, like, fly down and things like that. But it worked out because I was the alternate, but our delegate, she's from my area at home. She went to Niqua, actually.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so I was like, oh, my gosh. And we, like, flew down together and just figured it out. So it wasn't like I was there alone.
Yeah.
But I got to,
That's exciting.
make friends together. So,
Yeah.
So did you do any Habitat for Humanity trips throughout your
Yes,
years?
I
Okay.
did. So our service, not
Philanthropy.
philanthropy. Yeah.
Oh my god. On episode 1, I was like, what is like I couldn't remember.
Oh my god, we
word
both
for
could.
it.
I felt
Yeah.
so that. We're like brotherhood.
Like service?
Yeah. I went on one my sophomore year, and it was like a really big one. I wasn't building a house that time. I actually helped paint fire hydrants around the whole town.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So
Nice.
that was fun.
Was that one of the ones where you go to Florida or wherever?
No, that was just like local.
Okay.
I was supposed to go on the like spring break trip,
Oh,
and
spring
that was
break, okay,
that was
yeah.
right when COVID hit.
Oh,
so it was I was
sad.
supposed to go to California and help build houses. But
Yeah, to give some
Didn't work
background, so our philanthropy service, I guess we were calling it wrong. I think we were.
I think philanthropy.
So it's Habitat for Humanity. So we go. I think it's only spring semester, right? Like a spring break service trip where you go and you build houses, and you help with that. I think there were like multiple location options. I think there was one in Colorado and then one in California. But I was never able to do that. I was thinking about it. But
I know.
I feel like the flight
That's something
was
I
just so
kind of
expensive.
regret. The
Yeah,
flight was
I
expensive, but I regret it.
I think some people from our chapter drove. There was actually it was Florida, not Colorado. They drove to Florida, and I remember seeing their stories, and I was like, that looks so fun.
Oh yeah, and then they stayed there like for the rest of
Yeah.
spring break.
And then they like cover your housing and everything. I think the only thing that you had to cover was the flight.
Travel.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's exciting.
Did you do any habitat builds?
No.
No?
I didn't. I wanted to do it in California, but the flights were just so expensive that I was like,
But did you do any like
There's
local
some
ones?
locals, but
not
it can be
really,
hard on
honestly.
the weekends
Yeah.
to get out there.
Well, and I only did one, I think, in my participation with Theta, which probably isn't good, but I remember we had to get there at like 7:30 in the morning. It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just when you're in college, I feel like it's kind of hard to like work in.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so bad.
No,
like, it's
yeah.
philanthropy, you should be putting it first, but I mean, it's tough to fit it in.
Mm-hmm. Busy weekends.
So,
Lots of studying.
besides Corsac, did you have any other
Yeah,
positions?
I was the involvement chair, which
Nice.
that's specific to our chapter. Every chapter can like have their own positions that they want. But so I did that, and I helped with like senior send off. I tried to pester people into coming to things in chapter. I'd like text someone, I'd be like, "You should come," and they're like,
Aw.
"Okay." So I liked that because I got to know everyone really well, and I was just like looking out for everyone. So yeah.
I feel like all it takes is like literally someone to text you.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah,
like,
I think
and then you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, you're right. Like I should. Yeah.
Because I feel like you can always find something else to do. You know, you're so busy.
Yeah.
Like whether it's school or just like something else going on, like on campus. But
and I feel like when you join Theta Tau, like we all joined as freshmen, right?
yeah.
At the beginning of your Theta Tau career, you're like so excited and enthusiastic and you want to do everything. But by the time you're a senior, you're just like,
You're just drained.
I'm over it. I
Yeah.
don't want to go sit in a meeting where we're going to discuss about whether or not we can wear jeans to chapter. Like, have better things to do. So,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Besides, or do we want to wrap up? Anything else about Theta Tau? Any other contributing points?
Do you have a favorite memory?
Me? No, you have to do it.
Oh,
You're a
yeah,
guest.
yeah.
You're a guest. You almost got out of that one until you brought it up.
Oh, okay. So my favorite Theta Tau memory. This is a question people always get asked too, like whether you're graduate, anything, like some you get.
I
asked
feel like
this.
always when you're graduating, people
Yes.
are always like, "Tell us,
Yep.
what's your favorite
Yeah.
memory?"
So I think mine would have to be, so freshman year, I was meeting everyone in my pledge class. So it was people that were sophomores, juniors, and freshmen. And we were just getting to know each other really well. And we had a wine night at someone's house. Like, so being in the dorm freshman year and going to someone's house, I was always
It was, like, so
I was
exciting.
like, this is crazy. Like, you live in a house, like, by yourself, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So we did that and had a wine night, and we just got to know each other really well. And, yeah.
And that was with your pledge class?
That was with my pledge
Oh,
class.
I feel like you had
Yeah.
a good pledge class.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys were really close.
It's sad because half of them are gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was on the younger end of it, so
Oh.
yeah. But
Do you guys still keep up? Do you have a group me or anything?
yeah, we have a group me, and people always just send like random memories, and then seeing people like at their jobs and stuff
Yeah.
like that now too is just learning a lot from them. But then keeping in touch, keeping it fun.
Yeah. I feel like COVID put a wrench in everything, everywhere. But I feel like it kind of put a wrench into like Theta Tau stuff, because I remember I was excited to become an alumni because I was like, I'm so excited to go back for like alumni weekend, be on the panel
Yeah.
of people like giving advice, and then like
But
COVID.
Then, yeah.
Yeah. And even like for a job, like recruitment fairs. Like I was so excited for that.
Oh yeah.
I don't
how
even know
did-
if I'd be sent though.
How did that go?
I went.
Did you still do job fairs when it was?
They did this year. I don't think they did. Last year was all online.
Oh.
So you had to like sign up for a time slot, which is kind of nice because then it doesn't take
Was
up
it
your whole day.
one-on-one too.
Mhm.
Oh, that is
Like the
kinda
companies
cool.
had the time slots, and then you would like sign up for like a 15-minute thing.
Interesting, which I feel like just helps with
kind of a-
visibility. Because like I feel
yeah.
like at these fairs, you just drop your resume and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, hopefully they remember me. Like
Yeah.
A little
you know,
more
wear
efficient.
something nice. Like,
Yeah.
bright pink or something.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was fun.
Amazing. Okay, so is there any other organizations that you were involved in? I know that like something that we get asked often on our Instagram is like, what advice can we give to freshmen? And my personal advice is always to try to join as many organizations within the engineering building that you can.
Mhm,
So was
yeah.
there anything else that you were involved in?
Yeah, freshman year, I also got involved with Engineers Without Borders, which is very similar to Doctors Without Borders. Most people have heard of that instead. But Engineers Without Borders, they partner with a community in a different country, and students on campus help with designing different projects that would fit that community's needs. So typically it's surrounding like water. I worked on a latrine project as well. So just like basic sanitation that is but making it fit for their community. Like, you can't just go and install like sinks and faucets because that's just not
their infrastructure couldn't support that.
It wouldn't work. So those projects were really interesting because it was really like making drawings, talking with mentors that were professors at the school, and helping like plan the project and just fully being involved. And that was a little overwhelming as a freshman because I was like, I've never done like a drawing. I've never built like a latrine. Like, how would that? So, but there was a lot of people that helped me and taught me that kind of thing. Mandy actually went on one of those trips. So that's another part of it. You can go to the community after like a lot of fundraising, and they help like install a pipeline to get water to that community.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot of learning within that organization. So
yeah. How would you say it differs from Theta?
I think it's definitely more engineering focused and like project focused. So instead of having like the business side, brotherhood and service, it's more just like, we're going to work on this project, and you get that community out of it as well. Like, it's not like you only work on the project like Mondays and that's, you don't see them ever again. But a lot of learning of like practical application of engineering.
I feel like that's really good for if you are interviewing for jobs post-grad, because that is pretty much what being in the real world is. You know, like doing the drawings and figuring out how much it'll cost and the logistics and like talking with people. And so have you brought that up in any of your interviews? Has that been like advantageous?
Yes. So a lot of companies were really interested in it. I had a leadership position as well where I helped plan the local engineering day for a middle school. So middle schoolers came on campus.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And we got to teach them. We did like different stations on different like types of engineering. So like comp sci, they had like a little coding station. And like
little kids.
Yeah. Oh, it was, that's the thing too about being in a college town. You never see kids.
Yeah.
So when I saw them, I was like, and I was in charge. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But so it was really fun. We got a lot of good feedback because a lot of schools don't have like comp sci or things like that when you're younger, and some of those kids were like, I loved that. Like, they don't like, the teacher told me like these kids didn't like school that much, but they loved the comp sci station, so they were excited about going into high school. So
especially like for internships too, I feel like it's very hard to differentiate yourself from other students besides your grades. Like, you just look at the grades, you know, but you have nothing really to talk about. So it's like, oh, I've been in this club, like all this stuff, but like I feel like you got that real world like industry experience.
Yeah. It's basically like a company. Like,
that's really cool.
Like, that club is very like structured.
I feel like I didn't really know too much about Engineers Without Borders, but I think if I would have known more, I would have done it. But I think it was just so elusive to me that I was like, what?
Yeah.
What
and
is this
club?
club?
They met after Theta taught, and I was like, I can't do
or
it.
Before, I think.
It would have been a long day.
Long Monday.
Yeah. And it's hard to balance classes and doing like a full project for people. Like, it was, so learned a lot about time management with that stuff.
Did a specific type of engineering like mainly get involved in that? Like, were there a lot of mechanical engineers? Because I feel like as a chemical engineer, I don't know.
I think it was a good mix of both. Okay. I think there was a lot of mechanical and chemical, but a lot of the work that it was like, it would relate all of them.
Like, you needed everybody's expertise.
Yeah. And then you would just learn too, like, because it was so specific to that community, like their environmental needs were different and things like that. So definitely, like, you just learned them all.
Did you have like a professor that was like an advisor or anything like that?
There was like 2 or 3 professors that would really help you understand the project and what else you need to do, and they went on the trips to the other communities.
Were they the ones that gave you the project, or was there like Engineers Without Borders Nationals that you got the project from?
Yes.
Like, how did that happen?
So I didn't help like get a project ever, but I'm pretty sure our school would communicate with nationals because the projects would last like 3 to 5 years for each community.
Oh, wow.
So after that cycle, you would get a new like community or project. And that was the fun thing too, is we had a local team. So they worked specifically with the Miami Farm Institute for Food Farm. And so they helped with like a greenhouse, solar panels, things like that. So like different projects in our local community as well as in those other countries. So.
Oh, wow. So what countries did you work on? Did you only work on one, or did they?
I worked on the local project a lot, but we worked in Rwanda and Uganda at the time.
Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we know that you've been involved in a lot of engineering organizations, but were you involved in anything else during your undergrad?
Yeah.
Like, we already know, but, like, they don't know.
No. So I did decide to rush a sorority. So I joined Theta Tau in the fall of my freshman year and joined the sorority because our school is different. No one else really does that.
I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
Because then you get to, like, make your own friends, and then you rush.
In the spring. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we come back from winter break, we rush in the spring, which, like you said, like having your own friend group kind of already. And then going into it, that was really fun. It was a lot different compared to Theta Tau. And it was like, you talk to so many more people because going through Theta Tau, you're only talking to Theta Tau because that was our only engineering fraternity. But going through the sorority recruitment was you talk to every sorority and meet lots of people.
Like 5 per round.
I feel like it's so much more emotionally draining.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I would get home from rush and I'd be like,
like I can't talk.
Skeleton.
Yeah. It's like some days it was 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You have to like be perky, like haha.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, my personality's great, you know.
Very long days. And then too, just the number, like comparing the sororities. I was like, how do I? But like it works out. That was the thing people always said, like trust the process. I made a lot of great friends in my sorority. The biggest difference was not many of them were in engineering. Yeah. I think I'm the only one in my pledge class that was an engineer.
Yeah.
Which was different, but I didn't mind that because then I wasn't talking about school. The whole, like I was like, like that test was really hard. Like
definitely. Plus you had Theta Tau, so I feel like that was the best of both worlds.
Yes, definitely a good balance for me.
It's kind of nice to have those two outlets too. Like if you can do both a professional fraternity and then a social something. You know, because then you have that other group of people that you never have to talk about engineering with if you don't want to. Like if you need a break, you can go hang out with them and like it. But so what were the differences that you noticed between rushing Theta Tau and rushing like a social sorority?
Yeah. So, well, like we said, the first question people always ask was, what is your major? Yeah. And when I said engineering, sometimes people would be like, okay, like they wouldn't know what to ask about, but that was okay with me because I was like,
not everybody knows.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't even know what I'd say. I'd be like, engineering. They'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah, like,
whereas Theta Tau, it's like, are you mechanical? Are you electrical? Like, are you?
You're in that class? Yeah. So that was a big difference. But a lot of it, too, is, like, the other hobbies that I have were related to the sorority recruitment, which I liked. Because that was, like, some people did yoga. Some people, like, went hiking a lot. Like, things like that. So it was just a good difference to me. That was something I wanted. Was to have that different group. Yeah.
Yeah. Diversify your activities while you're in college a little bit. Yeah, definitely. What was it like for you, Lexi? Like, did you notice it was different?
It was honestly the same thing. Like, engineering, like, oh my gosh. Honestly, I got the... like not shocked, just like surprised. Like they don't really know what to ask. So I'd always like,
everybody is always
I'd be like, oh, I'm just doing business. You're like, oh, I'm undecided. And then you go to the other side of it, like being in a sorority, being on the recruitment side, and you realize that you already know. And they're like, oh, what's your major? And they like have a form, I don't know. If
before you come in.
Yes. Yeah. And they know everything about you. I don't want to. Not everything,
and it's so
that's how
it's just so different.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my god, they know that I'm lying about on the side. And I was like, I just want to be more relatable.
Well, and I feel like when you're a freshman and you're going through recruitment, you want for a social sorority, you want to be relatable and you want to form those connections because you really want to find your group of people. And so I mean, I kind of felt the same way. Anytime they'd be like, well, what are you majoring in? And I'd be like, engineering. It's like then the conversation just kind of wasn't flowing as well as I would have hoped that it was going to flow. So then I'd always be like, oh, but like I do these other things too. But like then with Theta Tau, it's so different and it's much more professional and like I almost feel like I felt like it was more high stakes.
It did seem that way. The second round we did like the professional ones and that was like my first interview like in business clothes. I was like
I went to Walmart.
So
okay, so like you mentioned, so I think the first round is more like it's like a speed dating.
Yeah.
So you go, you talk,
casual,
you go into the tables. And then the second one, like you said, it's more professional. You need to wear the business clothes. I had no business clothes. We got invited. You got like the invite only, and so I was like, "Mom, I don't know what to do." She's like, "Go to Walmart." Like, there's nothing in Oxford.
All that was in Oxford.
So like, go to Walmart, see what they have. If they don't, go to like JCPenney. That's an hour. So I got my like, I still have the clothes too. I like wear them to work. But I just remember like I just didn't bring any business clothes. Again, it's fall semester freshman year. You
And
don't-
why would you?
Yeah,
you
I
don't
didn't
feel
think
like
I was
you-
going to be doing anything like professional at school, so.
I remember I had this like little like black dress from TJ Maxx that I like, it was like my funeral dress. I had it to go to funerals, but I was like, it's the most professional thing in my closet. And then I had this like little cropped light pink like kind of blazer from like Forever 21. It was like a fashion blazer, and I like wore that.
Yep.
And then I think there might have been like 2 nights of interviews or something like that when I rushed. And I remember asking all the girls in my dorm, like on my floor, does anybody have professional clothes that I can borrow? Like I ended up borrowing like suit pants from someone. Somebody else I borrowed like some little kitten heels, because I just had like going out clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna wear my neon pink stilettos. Professional engineering fraternity interview. Like
That was the thing my mom and I got. Like, she was like, made me go shopping before school started. And I was like, why would I ever need business clothes? Like,
she knew.
yeah, she was right. And I was like, oh, you were right, Mom. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
But that was like right before I went off to college. We went and got the business clothes. And I was like, wow. But then I got ready for like sorority recruitment, because I had that winter break to go shopping again with my mom, and that was more fun because I was like, oh, I do want to like, get that, like not.
And you're like trying to be like cute and trendy and like
fun clothes,
fun clothes. You get to wear like cute dresses.
I got cute jeans, like you know, like the different,
You get to show your style off a little bit more
yeah.
than just like having to wear a suit.
Yeah,
and being in the professional setting.
All right, and the last round was at some like little restaurant or like bar. I don't know if you remember. And then they made it seem like it was like a social thing.
Oh,
like they were like they
forgot.
called you. I remember I got a call and I was like asleep.
It was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, and it was like 10 and I was asleep still because it was like my Thursdays. Usually, like I feel like my classes are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, very early, 8:30s, and then Tuesday, Thursdays, like I can go to sleep in a little bit. It's 10 and then I get a call and they told us if you get called to the next round, we're gonna call you. Like, it won't be an email. So I'm like, oh my god, this is it. And I'm like trying to like sound like awake, and I'm like, and I'm like, hello. And you can tell like the bed is like, and I'm like, yes.
Mrs. Lexi.
Like, oh, come here at this time. And I was like, okay.
Thank you.
I go back to bed after. But and then that was like the final round, and then I was like wearing like a business dress though to like
it's like, what do you expect?
It was Skippers. And then,
Was yours? Mine was a Skippers.
yeah, that was, we went back
we were all
to
at
it this
Skippers.
year.
Yeah, and that was like the midnight though. That we're like, they're like, oh, and then they asked you a weird question. Do you remember?
When I did it, I like did not know what was going on because, like I said in a previous episode, like our friend Julie was the one who told me to rush Theta, but she was studying abroad.
Oh,
so like
she wasn't there.
She wasn't there, so like I didn't have anyone to ask questions to. I didn't really know anybody in Theta, and so when I got this call, I literally thought we were like fighting for our lives, like because they don't tell you that if you get the call, you actually are getting it.
I had no idea what to expect. I was like, Mom, like they're doing it again. Like I have to do another one. And they were like, you're fine. I was like,
and it takes so much time.
I was like, what?
By the end of it, you're so exhausted. So I walked up Skippers because they do it in the top, so you like walk up these stairs, and Christian was the one that came down to get us because he was like the recruitment chair, and I was so intimidated by Christian. He comes down, he's like, Libby, it's your time, and I was like, okay, like I was freaking out. I don't even really remember what I wore, but I went up there and they asked me like, I think they asked me a question about like some TV show. What was the TV?
It was like some weird question.
What was the TV show with like a Pacific something West Coast? They're like Britney Spears' sister, and it was like the college.
Zoe 101.
Zoe 101. They were like, if you could change like the ending of Zoe 101 or something, what would it be? And I was like, okay, so I would do this, and then I would do like I was trying to
over explaining it. You're like,
yeah. They were like, if she didn't get pregnant, how would you like make the end of the show be? And I was like, okay, then I would hire these people, and I was like, take it so seriously, and they were like, stopped me, and they're like, no, like welcome to Theta, like.
They're like, please stop.
Like, we're extending you a bid, and I was like, oh! Like, I'm so confused. But what was the question they asked you, Lexi?
I can't even remember. I think I blacked out when I was like talking about
it. It was scary.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have a good response. And they're like, I don't know.
And because all the brothers are sitting there eating chicken tenders, and
yeah.
you're like so intimidated.
I remember, like, I was just, like, emotionally connected to, like, the recruitment. I was like, can you, like, is it okay? Like, when, like, I think Elaine was, like, our recruitment chair, and just, like, came down, and I was like, okay. I was like, give me a little smile to make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
It was so stressful. But
Yours was at Skippers too. Do you remember what question you were asked?
It wasn't a question. It was more just like close your eyes, and then they tapped you, and I was like,
oh, you know why? I think because we brought up how we didn't want to like make it seem like we were being mean to like the new people,
okay.
you know. So we were like, oh, we can't ask them a question because that will make them like be put on the spot, you know. So I think who was your pledge mom again? Do you remember? Or, like, who was your recruitment chair?
I don't even know.
I don't remember.
But I feel like I remember
Hayden.
the knighting thing, or
yes, that's what they did. Yeah,
they like knighted you into Theta Tau.
I was so oblivious. I think
I had
like
no idea.
for both types, I was just so oblivious. I had no idea. I was like, oh, I forget like they're like judging me. Not, you know what I mean? They're like,
no, yeah.
And I'm always just like in my own world. I'm like, oh, that was fun. Like,
and that is so much different from sorority recruitment. Like, not in a bad or a good way. It's just different.
Yeah, because it's smaller.
Different organizations.
Yeah.
It's smaller. It feels more intimate.
Yes,
yeah, definitely.
I think that's why it felt more serious because it was smaller, so you
Yeah.
like knew like getting cut,
People,
that kind of thing.
Like your recruitment people, like you
Yeah.
know them. You're like, is that everything?
Yeah.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
And like I remember midnight for my sorority, I didn't know anybody in my sorority. Like I remember we were all so excited, and you like run into the gym, and you're like, like I made it, whatever. But I remember looking around at like the midnight night, being like, I don't know any of these people.
It's a little awkward.
Which again, not good or bad, just different.
Yeah.
It's like in Theta Tau, you're going through the recruitment process with all these people, and it's smaller. You see the familiar faces, and
Yes, yeah.
so all in all, it's all good. It's just different.
Yeah, it's just what you want out of your college experience, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and there's just I feel like there's not as many people that are doing sororities with engineering degrees, so you feel like you have less people to ask questions to. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like how you were saying how there weren't too many people in your sorority with engineering degrees. Like I think there was only one other girl in mine, and I remember just being like, okay, well I'm gonna kind of lean on Theta Tau for some of those more questions that.
Yeah, it works out to have that support group.
Yeah.
To ask all those questions too. Yeah.
Do we want to kind of move into, we can maybe go to our final topic, which was COVID and the pandemic and trying to get your engineering degree during pandemic. Both you guys experienced.
Yes.
I got out of there just in the nick of time. I graduated December 2019.
Yeah.
So how was that?
It has been interesting. The online learning is different. Some classes I remember more than others that were virtual. But getting a job, I got an internship right before COVID hit, and then it ended up being canceled because they couldn't do the remote. It was like in a factory. It was a cheese factory, actually. I was really excited. I was like, yes, cheese. Like I was like, I get free samples, blah blah. Yeah. But so that got canceled just because they really could not make it in person or online at all. And then this past summer, I had an internship online, and I think after having that year of online classes and things like that, transitioning to the online workplace, it was like easier just because I'd gotten used to it over the past year. Yeah. It was still kind of hard to like meet people and make friends. Like I would like schedule a meeting to be like, hey, can you talk to me? Like the little intern, I was like, hey, and people would. So it was really great. Yeah. Just to like learn and meet different people, talk about their careers and things like that. So yeah, I understand the struggle of being online, but I see like benefits of both.
Once people got used to it.
Yeah, it worked out better. Like I think if I'd had something that first summer with COVID, it would have been a little trickier. So I was okay. Like looking back now, I'm like, I was okay. Like,
that was your last semester.
Yeah, so my last semester got cut short. I still remember the day that they announced the 2 weeks. Were like,
it was in March.
Everyone was going crazy. They were running to the liquor store because we lived. Our apartment was right uptown. Yeah, and you can just see these people running to the bar, and I'm like, oh my god! I was like to my roommate, I was like, dude, where are we running? Let's go run. Let's go run. Yeah, and it was crazy. Like the line was out the door, and I was like,
I was in the library.
Yeah, and
people were like leaving, just packing up and leaving.
Were they
right
like,
then.
it's just 2 weeks off?
Yeah,
or what did
they were like, no class tomorrow, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, and so I remember it was a Tuesday. I was in the engineering building because I needed some software. I needed ChemCAD, And I was like sitting there. It was like till 7:30. Like people are already drinking. Like
People
people
are
are
just
celebrating.
gone. Yes.
Like I'm like walking back in my backpack. Like finally finished whatever lab it was, and I was like walking back. And I'm like, oh, finally. And I'm like seeing all these people like outside and they're like enjoying. And I'm because it was March. It was like kind of nice weather. And then I was just like, dang, engineering is still, it's like no
Still
class, but
it,
still,
Yeah.
But so that was kind of crazy. So everyone was super excited in the beginning, and then they announced that the rest of the semester was going to be online, which was super sad because I had research. I was in a lab, so it's not like research that I could do remote. So that was pretty disappointing. And then I was also going to go to a conference for research, and I was so excited for that. And then that ended up getting canceled, which very disappointed about that, especially since I like was senior year graduating. I was like not going to pursue research, after graduation, but whatever, it's totally fine. Live vicariously through my lab mates. I'm texting Nick. I'm like, how's it going?
Was that like where you could have presented your research?
Yes, I had a poster, so I was so excited. So whatever, it's okay. But so that transition, it was just so weird. I didn't know what to expect with like the labs too. I was in unit ops 2, I think it was.
Okay.
So I think they just like the TAs just recorded themselves in the lab, and then you just answer questions.
Oh my god. Yeah, how do you do
weird.
labs?
I know, it was just
or
so
like how did
interesting.
people do like chemistry labs?
They did them online.
It was online.
They had
simulators.
simulators,
They had
online.
simulators?
They had to be like pour the chemical.
I feel like that's definitely
like,
when it got more. They got more custom. Like they had more time to.
like
but
next
right
semester.
away they were like, okay, TAs do it. Like it was a good. I don't know. Like
that was the one class I had in person.
Yeah.
In the fall, they were like, okay.
Oh, unit ops.
Yeah. They were like, you can.
Yeah. So I mean, it was interesting. Graduation, of course, was online. It was so weird.
Didn't you guys have like little virtual people that were just like you could walk around?
I was like, I don't want to do that. But so it was overall very disappointing. But I mean, it happens. And then I came back in September to campus to get my grad pictures because I didn't get that. I saw Kayla there.
Was it super like eerie to be like?
Yeah,
oh my
because
god.
it was still when everyone was online again. That was fall semester.
I didn't leave my house my junior year. Like
we
all sat in our rooms.
Oh yeah, because you couldn't
times.
where the bars were closed too, right?
Yeah, a lot of things were just like you just sat at home and.
What about like? I mean, this might be a stupid question, but what about like getting groceries? I mean, I know that it was open here, but like it wasn't.
I did like online pickup.
Online pickup.
I like didn't enter the grocery store.
The grocery store also. The day that we found out, like everything was on, it was insane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like, everybody like getting things, stocking
crazy.
up.
And I was like, I've never seen this many people in Oxford. I was
like,
do they live here? What do you guys do?
What are you guys doing?
But so honestly, it was just kind of crazy. But I feel like you got more of the experience. I think I just got like the whiplash from the beginning, and then
everyone
got out
was
of
just
there.
so confused. I feel like
like
I remember leading up to it because I had just started my job in January, so I didn't really know too many people because it was in March, and kind of like the weeks before we went home, I would say probably 2 weeks leading up, every day when we came in, everybody at work was like, are we gonna go remote? Because we had heard so many other businesses doing it, and then the day we did it, I remember coming in, and I live an hour away, so I drive an hour away, I get up, get ready, you spend all that time in the morning, and as soon as I got there, my boss was like, everybody, grab your monitors, grab your laptops, grab whatever you need, and go home. And it was like I remember nobody was like talking, and I was like, it was almost, this might sound dramatic, but it was almost as if it was like a serious situation, like a lockdown or something, where people would be like, get to the emergency location. Like it was like
now,
grab what you need and leave and do not come back. And I remember going home and sitting at home being like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
because I just started. I did not buy a desk until I think August. I had my laptop on my bed, and then I had like one of those ottomans that you can buy from Walmart that you can lift the top off to store things in.
Nice.
And I sat on one of the ottomans and like literally worked while my computer was on my bed. And I had to have like in the summer we had to have our yearly reviews. And I remember I like sitting on my bed in my childhood bedroom, and I had to turn the laptop so that the camera showed like the closet doors so that it was like a clean background.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like stuffed animals in the background while I'm talking to my boss. Yeah. And it was just like a really weird time. So I can't even imagine how it was like in Oxford.
Yeah.
You know?
That was the good thing, because I did move into a house as a junior, so I didn't have to worry about the dorms or anything after that.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah, what happened to all those people?
A lot of people, you didn't have to live in the dorm, that like if you were sophomore or freshman. So people lived in like Gaslight. I don't know if those were kind of small. They built like a lot more. They're like little just like apartments and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that was a good thing. I made my room like nice, and then the background was like fine. It was like a few posters that were just like places I'd been to, so it was like professional. People were like, okay. I was like, oh. Like my Zoom class, like if you had your camera on, I was like, okay.
Well, and I feel like
I'll be fine.
People like had to give each other grace during that time because it's like none of us had things set up. So it's like, okay, give me a couple weeks to get a professional background, you know, like get my shit in order and like figure out what I'm doing. Like, how was it like, Lexi, applying to jobs?
It was...
Because you graduated right after COVID.
Yeah, actually. So I had a few interviews. I was in the interview process for a few positions, and they all just got canceled. Okay. So I'm like, okie dokie, this is great. This is good.
Was that... So you were interviewing before the 2 weeks of going home and stuff?
Yeah, so I applied like mostly fall. Like I was doing like loads of applications. So it was like more December, January. Like the process was a little longer. Yeah. And yeah, everything got cut. Everything got canceled. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So then just applying like the summer when I got home, it's like, again, you're back home. I'm like, oh my God, okay, I got a degree. And now I'm like, what's it gonna get me? I hope it gets me something. And, but no, I did end up getting a position. I think I was like unemployed for like a month. That was it. But I was being so dramatic. I was like, oh my God, unemployment life. I was like, I feel like such a bum.
Like, unemployed.
I was like, sleep till noon. Let's go out. I don't want to grab dinner. But yeah, it was only a month, and then I did get a role like end of July, so that was good. But it was interesting, especially like with the online interview, process. I think that was a learning curve. But again, I think I'm the type of person where I like to like talk to avoid silence, like little moments. So one interviewer actually told me, she's like, you have a really good online presence. I was like, thank God, because you're talking to avoid like. So that was good at least, but I think it was just a very weird transition. It was just like.
Was that all in online too?
Yeah, all those interviews.
And
I
then
never
when
got
you started your first day though, was that online?
Yeah, it was online. And then I got requested to come on site for a product that I needed to be on site. Which I know we're gonna talk about that more in our third episode, but
like how did you even what I just can't even fathom like a first day of work online.
Yeah, I know. Well,
like did you just have meetings all morning where you were Zooming with people or like?
So I had. Actually, it was funny because I wasn't connected to the VPN, so I wasn't getting any emails.
Oh, you're like,
I was like, is there really no one wants to like talk to me right now? And my boss texted me like, hey, just so you know, like, are you connected to the VPN? We forgot to tell you. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
You're like,
so then I connected, and then like called IT. I was like, how do I do this? And then I started getting all like the intro meeting invites. Okay. Like, so yeah, it was mostly like meetings. I think the first day they did not try to like overload you too much. Yeah. But it was just so funny. I was like, what's VPN?
Yeah, what does it even mean? Yeah. We had a person that just started with our company, and my boss was like, I really want you to be in person every day. We don't have to be in the office right now. So there's not really many people there. And so the days that I did go into the office, if I needed to, and I saw him, he was like, yeah, this is just really weird because he's the only person there. He's like, I'm trying to get to know people, but like everybody's camera's off and like it's like this just such a different environment. Yeah. For your internship, did you?
Yeah,
was it the same type of thing?
First day, I got like shipped the laptop and stuff, and then the first day was all like set up, like tech set up, and I was just like, cool, like, and it was like my Zoom wasn't working, like it was all like my internet, like all the connection stuff was just like not working, and then I got the hang of it, but it was definitely very weird. And then too, like they did like breakout rooms of like interns to get to know each other, and I was like, we're all like,
oh, that's kind of cool. So it was like multiple interns just chilling on a Zoom.
Yeah. So then there was like people all over the country because it wasn't just
gosh.
So they had everyone on the first day, all over the country at the same time, and I was like, this is like cool. And then I was like, well, I'm probably never gonna see you like in person or online.
Yeah, but
again.
You wouldn't have.
Yeah, so that was the unique thing. I had a friend in a different office actually at the same company, and we got to like connect and like talk about like how our different offices were working. So that was fun to
Yeah.
compare. So
And then was your last day of your internship just like, okay, I'm done?
yeah,
Let me
Close the laptop. Like, was
Yeah.
that so weird?
yeah, I like messaged the girl in charge of me, and I was like, hey, like I finished the last thing you said, and she's like, oh cool, like you can log off, and I was like, okay, thanks. Like I'll email you. Like yeah, so it was just an awkward. Like I like wrapped up the box and like shipped it away, but
Whoa.
so yeah,
That's wild.
definitely weird like closing meeting.
And was that your first job experience?
Yes, my first like business
Professional,
job.
yeah.
So I was just like, hey. So, but everyone was really great on my team, and they did like even we had our cameras on luckily, and they were very talkative. So
Good.
it was good.
Yeah.
But,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I can't even imagine. And now I feel like people are kind of used to it, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
at least at my company, it's gotten to the point where it's now been this 2 years. We've been in a pandemic for 2 years, and we've gotten to the point where everybody's like, I've been able to do my work for 2 years at the same level than if I was in the office. So I don't know where it's going to go. I find it weird because, like, when I am in the office and there are other people in there, I am a social butterfly.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's it going? Or like, if I have a question, I'll be like, hey, by the way, how are your projects going? Or, you know, like, because I just want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But, like, when I'm working from home, you don't have those interruptions. It's just the message, the I am or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you have time for a chat? Or, like, hey, can you help me out with this? And then they help you, and then that's it. Like,
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
just go back to working from home. So,
Could you do a fully remote job?
I don't
Or-
know.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Because
want to?
are you going in the office for sure when you start? Or it's TBD?
I think, yeah,
TBD.
more TBD still. But I think, yeah, like you said, like just those small interactions make such a big difference, like throughout
Yeah.
your day. Like I felt guilty talking during meetings, like about something that wasn't the meeting. You know, like I would be
Yeah.
like, am I like,
And
just
you don't want to
wasting
waste anyone's time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
my team did do like fun questions. They're like, all right, like we'll end the meeting with like an icebreaker, like go find your favorite hat in your room and like put it on. And I'd be like, okay, like I'd run around and be like, okay. So like fun things like that. I was like, thank God it was like a little more social
Yeah,
in that way,
definitely.
not just like, all right, meeting's done.
Yeah.
But
Do you think you could fully remote? Lexi?
No, I think it'd be so sad.
I don't
So
think
I think
could, yeah.
I'm lucky that I have the opportunity to like go on site and do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I need to talk a little bit.
moving.
I definitely think the hybrid
Yeah.
style is like, because some days, you know, it is nice to like be from home and like be just as productive, if not more productive, because people aren't coming up to your desk
Exactly,
constantly asking you
yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
You know, or it's also weird because then sometimes you get things done quicker, maybe than you
Yeah.
would have in the office,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but nobody's around you, so I don't know. It's just different. But I don't think I could do fully remote. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Could you guys let us know?
yeah, let us know. Message our Instagram at my best friend's an engineer, because maybe we could do a whole episode on it and get people's like different experiences, talk about it, and because it's something I think we're all navigating still.
It's not
Add to
going
the
away.
list.
for a
Add it
while.
to the
Yeah.
list of topics we're still navigating.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kayla, and for being our first guest.
Yeah, thank you for being our
Yeah,
first
no, it was
guest.
so much fun.
That was fun. Thank you guys for listening. Do you have any final thoughts to wrap up the pod? Putting you on the spot here.
I don't know. I think a lot of the advice I mentioned earlier was like what I always think about, like when it comes to being like a woman in engineering, like just always like trying new things and not being afraid to ask people for help too is my big thing. Like if you guys hadn't shown me a lot of the things that we did freshman year, I don't think I would have, like it would have been very different. So
Wait, okay. I think that every guest we have on, we should ask them what is the piece of advice they'd give their younger selves.
Okay.
Every guest.
Starting with
okay,
you.
okay.
Every guest.
Well, that's my advice.
Okay.
Try new things, ask for help, and just you'll do it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, as always, you guys, don't forget to leave a rating and review. We are going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the year, so screenshot your rating and review, send it to our Instagram at my best friends and engineer. What else do we want to do? Other socials. So
follow our Instagram, My Best Friend's an Engineer. You just mentioned that. And then our TikTok, same thing.
TikTok, same thing.
Our YouTube is BFE.
BFE podcast. So yeah, if you are listening and you want if you're listening on like a podcast platform and you want like video content, we do have all the podcasts on YouTube as well, the full length episodes. So be sure to check us out there. And yeah, every Monday. Here we go.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Should we say thanks for listening?
Yeah. Do you want to join?
You want to come with? You gotta. You don't want to do it. Let's no. We're just gonna leave you out. You can't.
No.
Okay, ready?
What are we saying?
We're gonna say thank you for listening to My Best Friend's
Well,
Engineer.
no, it's I'm Libby and Lexi.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to add Kayla, okay?
Okay, you have to
So,
edit.
Okay,
Ready?
right. So you go.
I'm Libby.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm Kayla.
And thanks for listening.
And thank you.
We're saying thanks for listening to My Best Friend's Engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. Take two. I'm Libby.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm Kayla.
And thanks for listening to My Best Friend's an Engineer.